If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Stop and Shop Auto Sales presents the Coach Matt Griffith Show. Big win homecoming last weekend over the Childersburg Tigers. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And we talk a whole lot more comfortably today than we did a week ago. And a nice homecoming night and a big win for the Aggies.
It was, and I tell you what, our home side was packed. I mean, it was one of the bigger crowds that we've had. It was probably the biggest crowd we've had this year, and I appreciate everybody coming out for homecoming. I think it was a great homecoming all week.
Good for homecoming every week, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and so it was one of those things. We started a little slow in the first quarter, and our kids finally kind of woke up and said okay. And then Childersburg kind of made a couple of key mistakes that gave us a couple of touchdowns. And then in the modern era with kids, you have to keep scoring points or kids kind of give up. And Childersburg just kind of they got into a lull right there and started making mistakes. So, but I thought our kids played from the second quarter on, played really well, and we got to play a lot of kids.
Talk about some of the guys that played well, especially mid first quarter through third quarter.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got two running backs that are really good. They, Ridgeway and Malik Pope both do well. I think J.D. Deloach, our quarterback, keeps getting better. He had a couple of long passes that
which you've been looking for.
Sure. I mean, sure. That's 2 games in a row that he's thrown for over 100 yards, and so we were really pleased. Mm-hmm. He keeps progressing very well, and he's a good manager of the game. Colton Harmon had a big catch, and Malik Wyckoff played better offensively. Of course, and our defense just never gave up anything. Our defensive front that's probably centered around Darian McElrath and Chase Ivey, they played really well. Christian Twyman keeps playing well. Jordan Pearson keeps playing well. So, our secondary's playing well. So we just got to keep getting better every week.
Chase Ivey seems like he's been playing forever.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's
one of the veterans.
Well, when you start a kid as a sophomore, it's like they're around for a long time.
All right, Sylacauga, big win over Childersburg last Friday night. You mentioned you got to play with a lot of young people.
Yeah, and that's always good. I mean, listen, as much as we'll have 7 or 8 B-team games scheduled, and we get 3 or 4 canceled every year where other schools get kids hurt or they don't have enough to play. So our kids in the 9th and 10th grade usually only get to play about 5 ball games. So anytime you get up on an opponent and you can play those kids on a Friday night to get them game experience, it's irreplaceable. There's nothing like what we say is Friday Night Lights. There's nothing like playing up under them. So we got to play every kid we had, and we're very thankful for that.
The season before you now, and back into region play tomorrow night against St. Clair County.
Yeah, they're all region games now left. They're all important. They all shape up to whether you're going to the playoffs. They all shape up to what seed you are in the playoffs. And we've got 4 in a row. We've got St. Clair County Friday night. We've got Center Point, then you've got Clay, and you've got Mumford. And all of them are very, very important here on out.
Talk about St. Clair County, a team that is the first of 4 in a row region matchups tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, they're struggling. I mean, they've got a young football team. Brooks Dampier is a good football coach. He used to be the head coach at Pell City for some years back. He went there as an assistant. When Matt Glover went to Clay Chalk as a defense coordinator, Brooks took it. And they're very young, so they're struggling right now. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a good receiver, and the kids are playing hard. So, we cannot look past anybody. We've had a good week of practice, and it's just one of those things. You got to go on the road, go to their stadium, and you've got to win a region game.
You think the kids sense the opportunity before them?
Yeah, I think so. You know what? Our kids realize that they've got a good football team, that they can, the Mortimer Jordan game proved that they can play with anybody in the state. And I think even losing that thing in the end, our kids feel that they can beat anybody on their schedule. And that's probably 50% of the battle with kids, is they have to believe when you walk on the field that you can beat another school. And so, we'll see as this thing plays out. I'll tell you one thing, people can talk about kids nowadays and people can talk about how they used to be, but I'm telling you, we got a group of kids that have stepped on a turf in 98 and 97 degree weather for over a month and a half with no rain. The turf adds another 15 to 20 degrees. They've never griped. They've never complained. We don't, knock on wood, we have just not had bad practices. We've not had to get them off the field and talk to them. We've not had to run to punish them. They get after it and get done what we need to get done. It's a very special group of kids we've got right now.
We talk every year, especially later in the year, about injuries, and so far mostly pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully that'll continue. We've got some bumps and bruises. We'll probably hold Caleb Burns out. He's got what we think may be a slight concussion. It's hard to tell, but we err on the side of he's gone through protocol. Then he still had signs yesterday or day before, so the protocol starts over. And so we'll hold him out this week. And other than that, we have been very healthy. We hope we stay healthy because we're going to need to stay healthy. I mean, if we're going to make a run at this thing, we got to have everybody on board.
15 years as head football coach at Sylacauga High School, Coach Matt Griffith, and I think we mentioned this last week, but if we did, it's bears mentioning again. In 15 years, this is one of your favorite teams.
Yeah, and it's because of their attitude. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it's fun as an older coach to watch kids get along with each other. They get along with each other in the field house. They get along in the hallways. You know, when we go out and one kid says, let's go to work, you don't have another kid mouthing off. They're all kind of on the same team. And look, we've had some teams in the past. We've had teams in the past, you have to put a coach in the locker room at all times. You know, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. You're constantly punishing kids for not walking and doing the right things. And this bunch just seems to do it right. And it's a joy, especially at my age. It gets harder as you get older with kids. And with my age, it's really fun to watch this bunch.
Sylacauga and St. Clair County, the Saints tomorrow night in St. Clair County. Sylacauga heading into the really meat of their schedule as far as region is concerned. The Aggies with a region game tomorrow night. We'll revisit with Coach Matt Griffith next week. Coach, always a pleasure.
All right, thanks for having me.
More Daybreak in just a minute.